Hey guys, Andrew with Roof Tiger here. I'm with Dr. Ben Deig. He's a chiropractor. He's my chiropractor. We're going to be showing you guys the podcast that he did with Ben here in a little bit. It was awesome. You guys are going to love it. But for now, we're going to go over some of the misconceptions of chiropractic and what that does. So Ben, tell them kind of what we do when I come to see you.
Yeah, so Andrew came in with a couple of chief complaints, mostly mid-back pain and low back pain, occasional neck and shoulder discomfort. Nothing out of the ordinary, but things that can really affect your life, right? So for me, it all kind of starts with doing a proper exam, figuring out how we need to help you. There's a million different ways we can go about doing that, but a focused exam, going through range of motion, orthopedic test, finding out the painful areas and painful movements, and then developing a game plan to get you back to normal as quickly as possible.
Bam. Absolutely.
That's what it's all about. So if we're ready we'll demonstrate an adjustment on Andrew today. We've already done the exam, so I'm pretty familiar. We've done x-rays. We know what's going on with them. I would always recommend anytime you start a new provider, go through the process, get a proper evaluation so they know exactly what you have going on. So
100%. Let's do it.
Let's get after it. All right. Ooh. Increase in pressure when I put that left leg up.
Quads, yeah.
So one big misconception about chiropractic is that the adjustments are painful or scary. And the type of adjustment I'm going to do with Andrew today does involve manual adjustments, and that's where you're going to hear a little bit of a cavitation or a pop. There are many different techniques that we can utilize that you won't ever have a loud, forceful crack or anything like that. We can use instruments. I've treated patients that I've literally never adjusted once before because they weren't comfortable with that. So that's another big thing, is making sure that patients are comfortable with you and your style, and being manageable or being flexible in what they need, and that's what's most important. So we've got one in this upper thoracic spine here. So Andrew, I'm gonna have you take a nice big breath all the way in and out. Perfect. Okay. Next one, I'm gonna have him lay on his side. All right. We're gonna take one more nice big breath all the way in, all the way out. Let this hip come over to me. Perfect. All right. Let's flip on over and all the way out with me. A little more. Nice. Okay. I think that should be perfect. So we're gonna cross our arms just like that. Perfect. I'm gonna have one hand behind him. I want you to roll forward a little bit, right there, and then we're gonna come back together. Right. Very good.
It's great. Feels so much better.
Lastly, we can kind of check out his cervical spine or his neck with him either laying back, face up, or in a chair. Typically, we do with you laying down.
Lay down.
I've got a couch right here. This is perfect. When I redesign my office, can I have you guys come do it for me? This is the feng shui I need.
Shout out N Aaron.
Well, I will need that connection for sure. So again, we've gone through the process of a proper exam with Andrew. I'm not just setting up my table and cracking them real quick.
Right.
Most important thing is being comfortable and making sure you know what's going on. Okay. We're gonna have one more for him today. He's gonna be ready to take on the world.
Simple.
And then I like to do a little bit of a decompression effect for the cervical spine by just playing a little bit of pressure in the suboccipital region right in the base of the skull, where most of us are pretty tight.
Do a lot of headaches come from there, Ben?
They do, yep. That's what we call cervicogenic headaches. When they dysfunction in the upper cervical spine, results in kind of a radiating pain effect into the head, causing what we could describe as a headache.
Yep.
Not fun. Come on up, sir. All right.
Feel 2 inches taller. That was awesome.
Ben Deig,
Hello.
welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I saw your shirt from about 15 feet away, and I've always dreamed of filling shirts out like that. Never could.
Oh, stop.
You're looking good, man.
Well, thank you.
You're strong.
I appreciate that. I'm a big believer, if I'm going to talk the talk, I got to walk the walk too.
Love that. Love that.
I try to work hard, play hard too.
You have a pretty solid morning routine?
Yeah, actually, most of my workouts and lifting routine is over my lunch break.
Really?
So I see patients from 8 to 11 and then 2 to 6 p.m. So I have a pretty much a 3-hour lunch break where I go to the gym, catch up
Nice.
on notes, run to the bank, anything that needs to be done. It's pretty nice.
You get done.
Yeah.
You early to rise, early to bed kind of guy?
Exactly the opposite.
The opposite.
If I could, I am a night owl to a T. But it's habit now. So I wake up about 6 a.m. just ready to rock and roll. But I can still stay up till midnight too, just for no reason. I'm
Same.
like, go to bed, Ben. Yeah. Go to bed. Come on.
Same, dude. I get on YouTube rabbit trails at nighttime sometimes. You a YouTube guy?
I hop on YouTube and then sometimes even just Twitter. Just like, I don't tweet, but I like to just keep up with everything going
Right.
on. And especially our former president, that was his big platform.
Yes.
So got to see what's going on in the world through that. It's kind of interesting how that's a news source.
It is, man.
But
It's an interesting. It's kind of a tough thing with YouTube and just social media in general. It's a dangerous habit to get into, to focus too much on current political climate.
yeah, it really is.
It can take over your brain because there's just so much stuff to sort through.
And it's hard to kind of shift through all the information out there. There's
It
so
is.
much, and different sources will tell you different leaning biases, and it's easy to kind of keep going through the same sources that confirm your biases
bias,
already.
yeah.
So I try to get as many different information sources as possible, so I can try to have as informed a decision about politics. But even when you think you're informed, there's a lot we don't know.
There is. Yeah, I find it to be a dangerous. For me, I get really into stuff. That's just how I'm naturally inclined. So I have to be very careful about what I consume as far as information, because I'll just keep going and want more and more and more. So I have to be very conscious of what my daily thoughts are. I've learned over time.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
oh, yeah.
My younger self would just get super into stuff, but I'm like, okay, I pull back. Is this really going to affect my life? I think I need to focus more on X, Y, and Z. Right.
Yeah.
So you've been a chiropractor now for how long?
Well, I graduated in October of 2019 from Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa.
Davenport, shout out.
Yeah. Quad Cities boy for about 7 years. Originally from Peoria area in Bartonville, went to Limestone, and then undergrad at Augie, and then Palmer, obviously, for my graduate program.
Nice.
So, love the Quad Cities. A lot of similarities to Peoria, I
Yeah,
think.
it does.
But it's great to be back. But graduated in October of 19, and then opened up Peoria Spine Sport December of 19. So we had a few months under our belt right before COVID. And,
Welcome to the real world.
yeah, they don't teach you a whole lot about opening a business through a global pandemic in school.
Yeah,
I was a little
right,
disappointed
right.
about that. But all things considered, yeah, it's been a great ride so far, and just trying to help more people.
It's awesome, man. So you're how old now? You're 20,
I'm 26.
26. You're a young business owner, man.
I am.
How does it feel to be, were your parents business owners when they were going through, or did they work for someone else, or what was kind of their?
Yeah, so my dad is been a waiter for most of his life, and then my mom is a dietitian, and so we, mom basically raised my brother and I for most of my life, and so she's worked 2 to 3 jobs for most of the time I can remember growing up.
Yeah.
So I have some awesome grandparents. Shout out to them. And the whole family's awesome.
Yeah.
So really been blessed to have a great upbringing. But
That's awesome.
a lot of hard workers. No one's really owned a business. No one's really gone to anywhere beyond the initial college degree. So I guess I'm technically the first doctor in the family.
Good for you, dude.
So that's cool.
Yeah. Breaking new ground.
Yeah. My goal is just to create a life for my kids better than what I had. That's what
awesome.
every generation should be about, right?
100%. So when you went to school, was it the plan all along was to go to chiropractic school when you were like in your teens growing up? And was that the plan to go to chiropractic school? Did you have this big dream to be this chiropractor, open your own business, et cetera, et cetera?
No.
No?
Not at all, actually. Growing up, I'd never seen a chiropractor until I think I was 20 years old, going through undergrad. And my initial plan, I got really interested in physical therapy after an injury in high school wrestling.
Yeah.
And I love physical therapy. It was all about it, and still have a lot of respect for everything that great physical therapists will do. Long story short, I know this is a podcast, but I don't want to go too long with you. I was a junior in undergrad, and I got accepted with a friend of mine to go to Australia for an internship over there and study with a they call him physiotherapist, but a PT over there. And he did a lot of spinal manipulation. He focused on low back pelvic problems for his patients, and that was really the first time that I had been exposed to spinal manipulation, what us chiropractors call an adjustment, and how that can really benefit people. I'd saw people limping in, barely getting in the office, and next thing you know, a couple adjustments, and we did a lot of soft tissue work and rehab like I do in my practice now. And seeing people walk out, I was like, man, I don't care what I've heard about a chiropractor in the States, there's something to this, no doubt. And so a lot of the graduate students that were there at that time, they were all kind of saying, this isn't really what PTs in the States do, because I was the only one at the undergrad level working with him.
So you were in physical therapy school at the time?
Not during undergrad. It was like a pre-physical therapy program.
But you were just super interested in the topic.
Yeah, that was like my focus, and I began kind of scouting what schools I wanted to go to. And while I was over there, I started playing rugby, and kind of fell in love with that crazy sport. And rugby I joined the team back when I got back to the States in the spring, and we were at a tournament. Met some of the Palmer guys. I saw them on the sideline adjusting each other before games, and then they'd go blow a team out like 50-0. I'm like, they're doing something right here. So that was a big factor for me, just kind of the rugby with chiropractic, and just I kind of looked at the whole field and talked to different physical therapists and met chiropractors and talked to them and talked about kind of the opportunities in the next 20 years. Now there's obviously exceptions to everything, but a lot of the physical therapy world is a lot of corporation backed. There's a lot of big names in town that kind of do all of it, right? And as a chiropractor, you have a little more autonomy to develop and grow your business how you want to without that oversight. And for me at that time, that was a big factor. I never really knew I wanted to be a business owner, but as soon as that idea clicked, it was just, I knew it. I kind of had that feeling in my heart where this is what I was meant to do, and I've just followed that feeling ever since, and it's worked out well so far.
That's amazing, dude. Yeah. I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I'm a chiro kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been adjusting since I was hours old.
Your uncle, correct?
Uncle's a chiropractor. In my extended family, we have 32 chiropractors in our family line. Wow. So it's the second largest in the country. Shout out to my family. I'm not a chiropractor. Sorry, guys. Disappointment. But I'm a huge believer in chiropractic, not just from a physical standpoint, but just the idea of natural healing. Sure. Right? Letting your body do the work. Yeah. I was taught from a young age that whenever you have a cut, right, you just put a Band-Aid over it and the skin heals itself. I was like, this is pretty amazing. If your body's healthy and if it's functioning right, it heals itself.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's the whole concept. And so I always love the idea of you don't have to have anything external go into your body for it to heal. No. Right? It's all from the inside out, not outside in.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of times in medicine, we don't have to go down that rabbit trail because that's a deep one.
we could go down.
We could go down that. Yeah.
Maybe save it for next time.
That's right. But inside out versus outside in is just the concept itself is super fascinating, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. The human body is such an amazing thing that we're learning more and more about.
Yes.
We still don't understand the brain at all.
Wow.
But understanding how the brain does communicate via the nervous system with every organ, tissue, muscle within our body. Yeah. And you're right. The body is supposed to be a self-healing, self-regulating system. Mm-hmm. However, when we're out of whack, nutritional deficiencies, we're putting bad things into our body. Yeah. It can't keep up. No. And so my job is to kind of break that cycle. Yeah. Kind of get rid of some of the interference within the nervous system. Right. Whether that's stress, whether that's muscular imbalances, things like that all kind of throw our body off of where we want to be, our tip-top shape.
Yes. Chiropractic's an interesting field because maybe doctors were like this 50 years ago, 60 years ago, where you had a practice and you were just by yourself and you had to grow your practice as a doctor, right? Sure. As a family physician or whatever. Chiropractic really hasn't been sponsored by insurance as much as other hospitals and other medical practices have. And so chiropractic's really something that you're still business and your profession. Yeah. And that's not normal for like a doctor to just go in by himself for a private practice, right?
No, that is correct. And that's one of the most exciting yet sometimes frustrating parts and scary parts of owning your own business. And, I'd say I have to wear different hats.
I bet.
In the clinic side, when I'm treating patients, that's my favorite hat to wear. I love that part. Yeah. But you have to market. You have to go through, you have to be an accountant and keep your books. At least for me early on, eventually I'd love to hire out for a lot of that stuff. Yes. But for right now, I enjoy the grind of learning all these different things, learning taxes, learning the accounting, knowing how to bill insurance and correctly input all that kind of information is touched in school, but you kind of just have to learn it as you go.
Right.
The greatest teacher in life is failure and learning the hard way,
Let's go into that. I think that you're so right. We opened our business, 7-8 months ago, and as many successes as we've had, I can count as many failures in my personal, just in trying stuff and it not working out, right?
For sure.
But that's just the most honest and hard thing to go through, but it's so necessary to build something successful.
You have to.
Right?
Yeah.
Can you talk to that in terms of when you first started back in you said it was October of 19?
December.
December
when
of
the
19.
practice opened. Yep.
So obviously you started up, you're super pumped up, then March 2020 hits, and everything goes into a free fall.
Yeah.
Was that like a super tough transition for you?
Mentally it was. At that moment, or late March, early April, I was questioning myself. Did I do the right thing opening a business? Should I have just taken the steady job working for someone else?
Right.
At least I get a salary, right? But those are the type of lessons in life that you kind of have to go through and develop. And if you come out the other side with that mentality of, yes, this is going to be a great learning point for me.
Right.
My philosophy now is, hey, we started off in December. We were growing each month. Things were getting better and better. Obviously, I'm not blowing, any records away, but I'm doing my thing.
That's right.
And I'm helping people how I feel comfortable doing that. And then, COVID hits, and man, I was taking care of, a couple police officers, firefighters, nurses, frontline workers, right?
Right.
But by and large, most of my patients and I discussed, until we have a better understanding of what's going on, I think you're at the point where you can kind of maintain the progress we've made, keep doing your home exercises, keep doing the right things, but for now, let's keep you out of the office. And most patients have really appreciated that. By the end of May, I would say we really started seeing that uptick in the working from home having an impact on people.
Sure.
Going from maybe a little more ergonomically sound office spaces to they're using their kitchen dining table, or they're sitting on their couch all day.
Right.
And posture, I'm not going to say causes all bad things, but it does play a role in how we feel.
Makes me sit up straight right now.
Yeah, this here, I'm slouching too. But yeah, the working from home thing, and by the end of May, I think people were also getting to the point where they needed some help. And that's when the business started to see more new patients again. And we followed all the recommendations for the CDC and our local health department. And safety is my first and foremost priority with our patients, but a lot of people were really excited, to get back in.
Yeah.
So
I think one of the biggest misconceptions, as I've been around chiropractic my entire life, and I've been around chiropractors and heard them talk about philosophy, education. I've heard it all, not all of it, but enough to know. And one of the toughest things for people to understand is I think they think that chiropractic is a one-step, one and done, where it's like a chiropractor wants to keep you in forever. Football players, athletes are getting adjusted constantly because their bodies are being used in rigorous activities. I don't think a normal working person, 9-to-5 desk job would understand the stress you put on your body, right?
Sure.
Maybe a lot of people do about how they can feel it every once in a while, but the effects of an adjustment are so healthy consistently as your body just maintains, because it's very easy to throw your body out of whack.
It is.
And not even feel anything.
Yeah.
But then when you go see a chiropractor and get adjusted, you're like, oh my gosh, I've been missing this forever.
I hear that all the time. That's one of my favorite things is I can't believe it took me this long to come in and see you.
That's right.
Or I didn't realize how much pain or how much discomfort I was in constantly until I was no longer in pain.
So true.
And that's an awesome feeling. I get some great gratification for what I do when people are getting better. Conversely, like you said, you learn a lot from the failures.
Yeah.
The people that I haven't helped or haven't been able to get the success that we both wanted in their care, that's what keeps me up at night. And it drives my girlfriend Jackie crazy sometimes when I'm sitting there go to bed. I'm like, well, patient XYZ isn't responding the way we want to. What do I need to do different? What are we missing here? Should we get some lab work done? Whatever.
Yeah.
And so the people that I haven't helped are the ones that I've learned the most from. And I've seen similar cases walk in the second time, I need to do this differently from the get-go. And we've gotten some better outcomes. And that's part of clinical experience and life.
In life.
Got to get better, but you got to do it.
It is. There's no substitute for failing. You have to fail to get better. Yeah. And it's a tough pill to swallow. The jobs that have not gone the way that I thought they would, or that we've we've had issues with, or whatever the case. Those are the ones that have taught me the most about how to respond better, how to take care of the customer better, and how to prepare the next time better. So it's
only going to
necessary.
It is. It's necessary for growth. We got to be uncomfortable.
Sure.
And mistakes are only bad if we don't learn from them and don't change from it.
Yeah.
Right? So
We forget that Michael Jordan and LeBron James failed a lot in their first 5-6 years in the NBA, right? So you're 26. You've owned a business now for what is that?
about a year and a half.
Year and a
almost.
half. Going forward, what's some of the biggest changes you're looking forward to in 2021 as this pandemic, we start to understand more about it? Things are starting to open back up. We're starting to get back to somewhat of a normal. What's some of the things in 2020 you're looking forward to in your business?
Well, as of January 2021, my girlfriend, Jackie Luffer, who's also a chiropractor.
Shout out.
She's the best. And she takes care of me, and that's saying something. 'Cause I beat myself up pretty good. And so we're really looking forward to having her grow. I've grown quite a bit over that initial point when I opened from 0 patients to where I'm at now.
Yeah.
So I really want to see her develop and grow as a chiropractor and as a young businesswoman, because she's very passionate. She loves what she can do and knows what she can do.
Yep.
Excuse me. But seeing her grow together, and then at the point where we're, ready to just take on the next new challenge. I think in-person events is a big thing that I've been missing.
Yeah.
During the pandemic, we've kind of had to switch to more online marketing. And stuff like that works well. And word of mouth is where I'm at, is how I want to develop and grow as a business. You help people. You've done a great job with someone's roof. They're going to tell all their neighbors and their family, and that's how you grow, right?
Sure.
Same thing in my world. I help you with your problems, and then you're going to be like strutting in the office the next day, feeling great. Hey, Dr. Ben just fixed me up, So I'm not even sure where I was going with that, to be honest with you.
You're growing with Jackie's basically entering the practice as of January, you said, right?
Yes.
And so
Thank you.
Are you guys are going into business together in some way, shape, or form, where you're both justing out of the same office, it sounds like?
Correct.
Awesome.
That is correct. Yep. And we share office space with another chiropractor who's been great during my first initial period in practice, and we kind of just able to share office space with him and X-ray machines, because going from undergrad with a little bit of student loan, nothing bad. I worked my way through there. Then grad school hit me though, and I got scholarship for rugby.
Nice.
And I was still in quite a bit of debt, so I can imagine no one that didn't have any scholarships, but. I didn't want to go to a bank and say, hey, I need $100K to open up this practice.
Right.
With having 0 patients to my name, you don't know how business will grow. You can have trajectories, you can have projections on how things are going to go, but at the end of the day, you can't predict a global pandemic. So that was a good thing for me, was if looking in hindsight from COVID, it's probably best I was just renting space for now. So as Jack and I grow, then we'll kind of look at what the next steps will be from there. But 2021, I think, is the year of the rebound. 2020 was, for a lot of people, brutal. Yeah. And at best a wash for some. Yeah. Some of us have done well, and I try not to make excuses for myself, but that's COVID was obviously no thing to just neglect in terms of how it can affect your business.
Sure.
But 2021 is the year of the rebound, where we're able to go out and do more events, maybe some races, get more face-to-face interaction with people as, the vaccines and people are being more comfortable getting out. So that's really what I'm looking forward to.
Same.
Yeah, tell me about your spring.
Yeah. The mentality for me, in the wintertime, we couldn't work. And so we worked, the weather was so good through 2020, actually. We worked all the way up into the new year.
Wow.
It was like above 40 degrees for a long period of time. January hit, super cold. February, super cold and snowy. And so in roofing, you actually cannot install shingles below 40 degrees.
Oh, okay.
Especially when it's near zero.
Sure.
Because the asphalt strips don't bond to the roof correctly. So we were literally hibernating for 2 months. And so the mentality shift right when it started to get warm again was like, okay, guys, it's back on again. Yeah. And so year of the rebound for sure. I think just getting a fast start to this year and making sure you hit the ground running is really important.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
And I think there's just a lot of momentum building in the marketplace right now. Main Street's been super repressed for the past several months, and I hope all of us can bind together and start fighting again. Yeah. It just feels like the mentality has shifted a little bit, and I just want to run full force right now.
Heck yeah, man.
And that's where I'm at.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I know you're passionate about Peoria.
Yes.
And being from the Peoria area myself and just moving back, I missed a lot of the things that have changed from my time as a child. And like
Same.
restaurants and places that I remember going to that have definitely either closed or changed. It's sad to see that.
It is.
Then you throw COVID on top of an already tough economy.
Yeah.
Man, mom and pops have really been hurting.
Sure.
So yeah, as a community, we need to get together. We need to band together, support these guys.
Sure.
Support those that support us.
Yeah.
And if small businesses fail in America, we're all going down.
Yeah.
That is the backbone of our nation, and big corporations have a lot of sway in our government. And let's not go down that road.
Let's keep going down that path. But no, just totally kidding.
We don't have to talk about chiropractic the whole time.
No, I'm kidding. So, I totally agree with you, man. The small businesses, now that my friends and family are in a small business, we're in this thing together, it just becomes so much more illuminated that we're just normal people trying to make a living.
Yeah.
And you just do your best.
Right.
I think I was talking to Mishi Malouf, the last person we had on here, and about that. And there's a mentality of brands and companies that they're just kind of out there in the ether. And people can leave reviews on Google and just trash your business, right? I feel especially bad for like restaurants, and if somebody has a bad experience, people just go after you, be savage. It's like these people are just trying to make it.
Right.
We're all out here just trying to make it. Yeah. And feedback is good, but man, like really trashing somebody, your business is your baby.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah, I never knew the connection I would have with owning a business until you're there.
Yes.
And you're right, though. I do have a different shift in my mentality of now being a business owner. And
yes.
It's nothing. You file a few papers and
you just do it.
You just do it. Yeah, it's not some crazy corporation you have to go through. But it is an interesting way to look at life now.
It is
through the lens of a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So,
talk to me about being a 26-year-old business owner and being in the younger. How I see it is, I'm 31, about to be 32. Shout out March 22nd, Andrew Farrar, same birthday.
Ooh, all right.
We share the same birthday. I butchered that. March 22nd, Andrew and I both turned 32.
11 days from today.
Yeah, I know, man.
What's the plan?
Yeah, what are we gonna do, bro?
I don't celebrate.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I thought about buying a suit, just a nice,
Nice.
dressing up one day, go on a roof, take some pictures. I don't know.
Do a boys' night out birthday edition.
Bam. So turning 32, being a young business owner, how I see it is that we've had this, small businesses have typically been opened by older people, right? 40s, 50s, 60s. And in both of our professions, the older guard is starting to retire. I know my uncle's getting towards retirement. And just the businesses that have been established for a long time are starting to work their way out. And if we don't refill those with that same, right? If we don't come in there and actually fill that gap, there's going to be a hole left in the community. So I feel like we have a responsibility as young people to go after it.
Heck yeah.
Right.
Man.
And build something special, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
To touch on that, I would definitely say chiropractic, is by and large in Peoria area, there's a lot of older, big names in the Peoria area, and they've helped so many people. And I tell people when I meet them, if you have a good chiropractor that takes care of you, listens to you, and treats you right, awesome. Our conversations here are done, I'm not one to ever try to steal someone's patient or nothing crazy, but You're right, though. As people are kind of, getting older and looking to retirement, there is going to be a market that needs to be filled, or a void that needs to be filled.
Yes.
But I've also had the mindset of, when I was doing demographic research on, is it even feasible for me to come back to Peoria to open a business here? There's a lot of chiropractors in the Peoria area, in the Tri-County area. But for me, when you look at the total usage of the population that's utilizing a chiropractor right now, it's anywhere, depending on what study you look at, 10 to 15%-ish. I think Peoria Midwest is usually a little higher than maybe some other areas, but that means there's a lot of people out there that need a chiropractor.
That's right.
And that's really the people I'm after. I want to spread the word of chiropractic, but not only that, but Peoria Spine Sport and how we're a little different.
Love it. Go into that. What makes you guys different than I guess your competition or some other chiropractor? What kind of things do you try to corner the market in?
Well, for me, it's the chiropractic adjustment of the spine is the bread and butter, and that's what makes chiropractors unique. The chiropractic philosophy is a component of what we do, but there's a science, art, and that philosophy, and that's what makes chiropractic unique. Peoria Spine Sport builds from that as our base and then adds in elements that I've learned through physical therapy that I saw work firsthand. And I try my best to practice what we call evidence-based medicine or evidence-based chiropractic. So what does the literature say? And that's, okay, for this condition, a tendinopathy, maybe I'd use a little more of my Graston tools or things like that. But rehab has a time and a place too, and movement is medicine. For a lot of my patients, we're not moving at all or enough.
Yeah.
And if I can just motivate them and get them doing a few things at home, that's a huge win. In addition to the treatments, of course, but I try to empower my patients to have a tool belt that they can have knowledge of, okay, this stretch or this exercise when my neck starts to get tight at work, when I'm kind of slumping all weird all day, what can I do to fix that myself? Now, obviously, stretching isn't just going to cure all conditions, right? But I think for me, being able to not only provide high quality in-office service, but educate and empower my patients is what I'm all about.
Massive. So the in-person events you were talking about earlier and you were alluding to, is that like dinners that you would talk about chiropractic with people, or would you get out in the marketplace and do like, explain to me what you're talking about when you say in-person events?
Well, I'm really just on the search for different options. Like you said, you got to learn by failure. Not to throw any shade out there, but when I first opened, one of the first gigs I found, because it was in December, I got a booth at Northwoods Mall.
Yeah.
And would just talk to people when they're walking by. Man, that's not me. I am not the cold caller salesman type. And getting people to come talk to you out of the blue is definitely uncomfortable, but I learned a lot.
Sure.
And I know that that's not really my style, but if there's different health fairs, if there's different, even at things that you wouldn't think of as like a health fair, but like a craft or vendor show, I've done those, and we've met people that we've helped a lot, and they've referred their friends and family.
Right.
So for me, it's just meeting people, getting my face and talking to them, and just saying, hey, is there something I can help you out with? And just having an honest conversation. And if I think I can help them, I'll tell them. And if I don't think I can help you, you need to go see an ortho or someone else, I'm going to tell you that too. And I think being honest and having that kind of personality is something that's been missing lately. I think business shifted to so much online and like big names and corporation. You've done an awesome job of bringing that personality to your business. And that's, I think, what set you apart.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been following you guys since I met you.
Yeah.
At that fundraising event.
The lemonade fair.
The lemonade stand. Yeah. I've been following you guys since then and just love your content, love everything you guys put out. And I need to be better at it, first of all. But
we have a lot of people that say that they want to bring more personality to their brand or business. And what I would say to you is, it's the same lesson you learned. What you were just talking about with failure. There's some content that I put out that I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? But I was authentically myself. I was failing myself. I was just doing it on camera. So it's one of those things where you just have to be able to risk that in front of. And you don't have to do anything like dance on camera or play the piano, but what you can do is just authentically be yourself. Yeah, and the more that I do that on camera, the more that I'm willing to risk, the more response I get. People will say, so it's cool, and I encourage people to do that because as a small business owner, you are the business. Yeah. Yeah?
True. 100%.
I mean, let's be honest. If I were to bring 5 chiropractors in here, all their clients would say, I love my doctor. They're not saying the adjustments are everything. They're like, oh, Dr. Ben is my guy because, right? Yeah, it's a very personal thing for a small business owner. And so you don't say the same thing when you go to McDonald's.
Right.
You're not saying that the Morton McDonald's is better than the Washington because you don't say that. It's just McDonald's. Yeah. No shade to McDonald's, right? But small business owners have this rare quality of becoming a part of the community, and I think that's a really important thing. And I think also just with your staff bringing Jackie on in January, that's going to add a whole other element because she has a different bubble than what you'd have.
For sure.
So you start to bring in these other bubbles, and then all of a sudden you grow.
Yeah. That's the plan.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And she's, had a lot of experience. The office she worked at in Bloomington was a lot of family and pediatric focused. And that's, I've worked on a few kids when I was an intern at Palmer, but during my practice, I didn't really see too many kids.
Yeah.
And that's a market that can really benefit from chiropractic care as well.
Big time.
There can be difference in opinions out there on the research. And again, we don't need to get on all that. But I've seen some firsthand experience, as every other chiropractor has, why we do what we do.
Yes.
And you can't help everyone, but when you can help people, or especially kids that have been struggling with certain things, and you just see that light and that switch happen, man, it's awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
It is. There's a big poster in my it's in my uncle's office or my cousin's office. It says, as the root grows, so grows the tree. Right?
Yeah.
So as a little child's spine develops, if it's developing in the wrong direction, it's not being corrected. A tree, if it's growing sideways and you don't straighten it, will literally grow sideways, right? So it's the same way in the nervous system, that if your spine's not functioning correctly, if you're not having that S curve, you're going to continue to have issues down the line that could have been corrected way well before that.
Sure.
And so it's I'm just I think believer is such the wrong term in chiropractic because it's just so, right? It's like, why are we getting into, I believe this or not? It's just simple nervous system / body mechanics of how your body functions, right?
Exactly.
And when you're in the space, you're just like, this is so common. I think some people are like, this is, the detractors might say this is quackery or you're not this. It's like, man, if you were to study the spine for an hour and see what a normal spine looks like, and then take an X-ray of your own, typically people don't have perfect spines, right?
Oh yeah. I literally see it every day.
Every day.
And and misconceptions sometimes where we can have people will come in with thinking that they've had an X-ray at a medical office and they have degenerative disc disease, and that in their mind is a life sentence for pain in their back.
Right.
Arthritis or degenerative disc disease, quite a few different names for it. Is basically graying of, like our hair gets gray as we age. Our spine does have some degenerative changes. Now, that can be advanced through, trauma at a young age, motor vehicle accidents, poor posture, etc. But we can facilitate so much better movement within those areas and get you functioning, even though if we take an X-ray 6 months later, you're still going to have degenerative disc disease. But how do you feel? How do you function?
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And so taking people's mindset from like, oh, I know I'm going to have pain the rest of my life. And that's my favorite consult is the people that come in like, oh, I know you're not going to help me, but my wife made me schedule an appointment.
Yeah.
Because she's tired of hearing me complain. 2 weeks later, they're like hopping off the table, waddling out of the office. I'm like, okay, yeah, he was a believer now. And obviously the saying you don't believe in chiropractic is there's a lot of dogma through the decades, through maybe a little more traditional medical practices that have not understood what we do.
Yeah, sure. The United States of America has the best emergency medical care in the world, right?
Oh, no doubt.
If you have a very serious illness or if you've gotten a very serious accident, going to a hospital and having the professionals treat you there, man, 1,000,000%. What we lack in, and this is, very obvious, is taking care of our bodies up until that point.
Yeah.
And chiropractic, a lot of times, that you go into what you consume for food. You go into how much water you're intaking. It's more of a full health scope as opposed to just, I think we just wait until a problem happens and then react out of emergency, right?
Yeah.
When we should have been taking care of our bodies the whole time.
Yep, exactly. And we do have this reactive versus proactive mentality towards healthcare. And
yes.
And as you were saying, if I was to be in an accident or have a gunshot wound, there's nowhere in the world I'd rather be than the ER right here in Peoria.
That's right.
And they'll get you patched up, and we're going to survive it, right?
Yeah.
Within reason. But when you take a look at our healthcare and Americans as a whole, we have failed the chronic disease category.
Yes, we have.
Obesity, diabetes, heart disease, those type of things. And not all of them are preventable, but by and large, the choices you and I make equate to what that turns into down the road.
That's right.
And those are, like I said, largely preventable. And it's sad for me to see it most when I was working at the booth at the mall, meeting people, and when I'd see two parents that were definitely obese. And then you see 3 kids walking behind them with sodas or icy candy. And again, there's a time and a place. Everything is about moderation. But you're seeing that trend from generation to generation. And those kids are undoubtedly very high risk for type 2 diabetes and other complications with obesity. And, it's sad sometimes, man.
It is.
Because knowing the health effects of being obese, it can really damage your entire vital organs. And over time, it's going to lead to a premature and probably a painful way out of this world. And that's tough.
Our education system and how our culture has shifted towards fast food and the microwave generation of just give me a pill and take care of the pain is it's a detriment to us and our health.
Yep. And health isn't a quick fix.
It is not.
As you alluded to, we talk to our patients about eating healthier choices. If they have recommendation or have a desire for a diet, we can talk about healthy options for a diet. Small changes over time lead to big results. If you go from eating McDonald's every day and eating a trash diet to think you're going to go eat a salad 2 times a day and have a chicken breast with rice at dinner, that's not going to happen, or it's not going to be sustainable.
Right.
So a lot of these fad diets, maybe you'll lose 20 pounds in a month, but you're going to keep it off?
Yeah.
Probably not. And most of that's going to be water weight anyway.
Right.
1 to 2 pounds a week is about a healthy way to lose weight. And so we do counsel on that. We do talk about taking care of yourself. And like I said, I'm a big movement is medicine guy.
Takes time. Yeah.
You know, and nothing changes overnight.
Yeah.
You know, there's a quick fix. If you want to take a pill for it, cover it up, that's your choice.
So true.
But if we want to get to the root cause, it's going to take time and effort on my part as a provider and on you as a patient to be diligent about working hard for yourself too, because at the end of the day, it's on your shoulders to take care of your own body.
Bam. That's it, man. And I think going deep into that mentality, not just for health, but just there was times in the past year where I got so engrossed in politics. I got so engrossed in what's happening in the culture that it almost was a virus in my brain. It took over.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And I started to complain about things and become a victim to my own life. And I had to remind myself that I had the choice to focus on this every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that introspective mentality, that's tough.
Super hard.
To get yourself out of that cycle of thinking, I'm sure, as you were.
Very tough, especially when coronavirus is hitting. That's all you hear about in the news.
Oh, yeah.
Donald Trump is president. You hear about his tweets every day. Then you have the left and right battling about bills and about all this stuff. The political climate was so toxic. You have to almost focus on not tuning into that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it can take over your life pretty quick.
Oh, I'm the same way, man.
Yeah.
I'm a chiropractor. I stay in my healthcare lane, right?
Yeah.
But, man, I love learning about politics and the different shady things that go on behind closed doors in our government, man. So that's why I see interviews and meet guys like Andre, who was on here.
Shout out Andre Allen. Congratulations,
Congrats, bro. Yes. I love to see our generation. We got to
take the mantle.
We have to.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, but older generations have failed us. Yeah. They put our economy, our environment in a tough spot. And again, I'm not left nor right. I look at the evidence on any topic and I make my decision. So I kind of say I'm a little more socially liberal, but fiscally conservative. And I think that's a lot of
young people.
We would relate similarly.
Definitely, man. I think just having passionate, like I was talking to you before we started this, just having passionate people in that are willing to listen to their constituents. I think Andre is a good example of that, of just listening and always seeking feedback from people. Super easy to talk to, and I'm excited for him to get in office and try to make something happen. If there's one thing I can't stand in politics, it's people who try to take advantage of the system and don't do anything about the current problems, right?
Sure.
Just ignoring the large problems we have in our culture and in our city, while they take money from it. It drives you batty.
You know what? And I agree 100%. And I think you guys are a great example of, like you said, it's easy to see the toxicity of the news and the government, everything going on in the world, but put your money where your mouth is. If you see a problem in the world, instead of hitting on Facebook or Twitter and complaining about it, offer a solution. Do something about it. Raise money for a good cause. Put your money where your mouth is.
It's super tough in this climate to do that.
Sure.
Because once you step out in faith to do something, you're always going to get pushback. I remember this from like 10 years ago. I looked at a video of like a really cute dog doing something funny. And it was like a short 20-second clip of this dog. And it was on YouTube. And it had like 100,000 likes. And like 5,000 people disliked this video. And I'm like, bro, who's out here? Who are these people disliking this dog video? I'm getting loud, but you know what I'm saying?
Why are you hitting the dislike button?
Who are these people? But then when I stepped into the internet game and I'm out there in the face of the public and I say something controversial, I lose a couple friends, like people start commenting. It's real, man. And even if you're like, everybody should be behind this cause because, no, there's always going to be people that are like, screw this,
Sure.
And you have to get used to facing adversity to push through that.
Yeah. I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to get a little more out of my comfort zone and maybe do a little more, put my personality out there. And
do it.
If you lose a few people, that's fine, but you're going to gain a stronger tribe because of being authentic.
It's true. That. I think we're always scared because we don't want to, even me, man, I don't want to have detractors. I don't have people that disagree with me. However, I'm also risking just being gray matter if I don't, right? Sure. And so I would encourage them and don't try to be anyone else but yourself. Get on camera and just say something, whatever the case. But I'm a firm believer that the young generation has to take the mantle, especially on social media. You can seriously influence your social circle if you continue to be yourself. And I think that's important for us to step out and do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. Love it.
So 26 years old, You've been a chiropractor for 16 months. You've got Jackie moving into January, which has been a couple months. Talk to me about the evolution of the business. Do you see your practice changing, having more chiropractors underneath you? Where do you kind of see this evolution going for you?
That's a great question. You know, at this current stage where we're at now, like I said, this is the year of the rebound. I want Jackie to get busy, be comfortable where she's at. I want to continue to grow myself and the sphere of people that I can influence and help. But definitely, you know, the goal moving forward is for Peoria Spine Sport to evolve into kind of what they call a clinic gym hybrid. That's my ultimate goal for
Awesome.
it.
Have a gym attached to the chiropractic office?
Correct. I don't want to be like a huge like Gold's Gym or nothing crazy like that,
Yeah.
you know. But it would be an opportunity for me to take the transition from acute care, you know, treatments, adjustments, soft tissue work, what we're doing in office, and saying, okay, go home and do these XYZ rehab things, and then I want you to, because most of my people want to be more active, and it's like, okay, good luck, you know. And we demonstrate in the office, and we do a lot of stuff in the office, but saying, okay, walk across the hall with me. Let's go get under the
let's go
squat
do it.
bar.
Yeah.
Let's see if we're actually getting the results we need to, you
Love
know. And that's really what I want. And then hopefully have, you know, other professions. And I'm not sure what it's going to evolve into. You know, a lot of chiropractors will, you know, hire in like nurse practitioners or other medical doctors to provide injections or PRP, plasma therapies, different things like that. I don't really foresee myself doing that, but I can't rule it out either.
Yeah.
My philosophy with chiropractic is sound in the science, art, and philosophy of chiropractic, but I also want to do whatever it takes to help somebody out. And if I can't do that through traditional chiropractic means, then if they need to go to the injections or surgery, I refer out for that, obviously, right now.
Right. It's a great mentality.
But I think it would be beneficial to have more under one roof. So
Definitely, man. Just focusing on the patient, on what they need, right?
Yeah.
And just making sure that the best top quality care. And I think having chiropractic is a piece of that. More people need to experience it. And if they just experienced it for even just 1 month,
yeah,
they'd be like, man, I've been missing this for a long time, right?
Yeah,
Do you get that a lot from new patients?
I do. And that's one of the most things I enjoy the most about the job is, or the career, the lifestyle is when you actually can help people and it
Yeah.
changes their life. And, you know, I have people come in that could barely walk sometimes. And then, you know, a couple months down the road, they're like, yeah, I started jogging outside for the
Wow.
first time in like 5 years or 10 years or however. And then, you know, they give you a hug or they shake your hand, you know, they thank you for you helping them. And
Yes.
it's an awesome feeling. And I tell them, you know, yeah, I'm happy to help. I'm proud that we were able to get there, but you should be proud of yourself too, because you were obviously doing some things right on your own. And whether it's nutrition changes, whether it's exercising, it's all cumulative. It all adds up.
Yes.
Small changes over time add up to big results.
It's so true, man. That mentality, because change is hard,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
If you've ever tried to, if anyone's out there ever changed something in their life, the first day feels like hell. It's like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, when you first opened your business and then COVID hit, you're like, did I make the right decision? I had the same thing with Roof Tiger. It was like the same thing. A couple weeks in, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And you feel like going backward. And then as you progress in the business, you can take on more and more and more stress because you just get used to it.
Yeah.
But that's built one day at a time,
Sure.
you know?
Exactly, man.
And that comes with anything, with health or with your spine or with anything, right?
Yeah, it certainly does.
Habits change your life. And it takes one small step and then a step after that and then 10,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it really is kind of that snowball effect with chiropractic care. And I tell people, you know, if our spine is out of alignment, the muscles that attach on there are going to tighten up and eventually start spasming up. And when that happens, we can have some inflammation, irritation into that area.
Yeah.
That inflammation can kind of irritate the nerve roots, and we can have, you know, nerve type pain as well. And that's kind of like a self-perpetuating cycle. And my job is to break that cycle. If we can get you feeling better, get the muscles loosened up, allow your body to start healing up, and, you know, kind of get used to this new normal alignment, then you're gonna have a lot more confidence at work, at home, and that confidence leads to, okay, maybe I can go for a jog or walking the dog around the block for the first time.
Yes.
Or like I said, it's tiny, tiny, tiny steps, and then when you look back 3 months later, you're like, dang, I've really come a long way.
That's right.
And it's really cool to see that progression for people.
It's funny how when you start to adopt that mentality that either anything's possible or I can change my circumstances, how that bleeds into every atmosphere in your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That all of a sudden it just doesn't become about just your health. It becomes about working harder or being more present or doing something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It goes into all facets of your relationships. I know in the past year, I battled a ton of things. And as I started to progress in that mindset of I can do this, all my relationships got closer, got tighter, got more honest, and my family grew tighter. And so many different things happened because I was willing to take on the risk of looking back and saying, this just didn't work.
Yeah.
I can change my life.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to.
Come on.
And yeah, I took a leap of faith opening my own business. And then,
Yes.
yeah, it would have been easy to, COVID hit and, unemployment stimulus is like going through. It's been easy to pack up ship and say, oh, you know what, maybe I'll just find another job. And this wasn't right. I could have put the cards in, folded the cards, right? But you grind, man. And like you said, you learn from it. And just that grind then is something that I will never forget. And it's going to be part of my personality and the business's persona for a long time. Yeah, we grew, we survived, and we thrived throughout COVID. And like you said, it's just been authentic. Obviously maybe not as online as I would like to, but when I'm in the office, Andrew could attest, that's my happy place.
So you are.
That's where I feel comfortable. I just love being able to help people out. And I think when you find something that you're passionate about in life, even if you're 50 years old and you find that passion, go after it 100%, man.
That's right.
Don't just say, oh, that'd be kind of cool if I did that. No one else is going to write a book of life or write a book about your life unless you go after your passion.
It's so good.
And, if it doesn't work out, like, failure's a hell of a teacher, man. Obviously, success is awesome, but we can kind of look back and see where you started from 6-7 months ago and to where you're going to be in 6-7 months after a busy season. I'm excited for you, man.
Same.
Heck yeah.
Same. I'm excited for our team to keep on going. Sarah Skolaski, she's I interviewed her a couple about last week. She was the first person as a local business owner on the podcast.
Oh, nice.
And she started her coffee shop in a trailer. She literally just bought a trailer, knew nothing about coffee, and just said, I want to serve people, and I want to connect to the public, and I want to share my story. She's a breast cancer survivor.
Awesome.
Bought a trailer, made it into a coffee shop, and then set up. And then it was so popular that she's now has a brick and mortar shop in North Peoria that's thriving.
That's awesome.
But it just takes that first leap of faith to say this is possible. Yeah. And then you fall on your face, you fail a bunch of times, you figure it out, you move on to the next thing. And the more you surround yourself with people that do that, the more entrepreneurs and business owners you see, it's like, oh my gosh, they're the same as me.
Yeah.
You're just trying to figure it out just like I am. So
Yeah.
let's help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, I always thought oh, he's 18 or he's an adult. He's got it all figured
Yeah.
out, And then you turn 18, you go to college, like, okay, still don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
22, okay, I think I know a little more, but still don't know what's going on here. And then eventually you're like, no one really knows what's going on. Just be yourself, go after it, man, and good things will happen when you can just, I don't know, whether you believe in God or anything like that. If you just trust your gut and maybe have a little introspective thoughts of, okay, is this what I need to do with my life, and follow that feeling.
Yeah.
And I think it'll lead you to the right direction.
That's the exact same advice the last two people gave on this podcast.
Wow.
The same thing. Two business owners, they said the exact same thing. And I would agree 1,000,000%. There's just you can read 100 business books. You can really dive deep in your own personality and really try to figure stuff out. But until you take that first step of action and actually do something, it's going to change.
Yeah.
You're going to change as you go. You will never have everything figured out before it starts.
It's true.
It's like jumping off a cliff on a little bit with a parachute attached.
Yeah. Honestly, I wish I would have known how much more I should have known before I started the
You probably
business.
would have done it, would you?
Probably not. No. But every day there's a new challenge. Okay, I have to do this form or call this, just some new challenge.
That's
and it doesn't matter what it is. Tackle it head on, and either you're going to get back up because it knocked you down, or you're going to do the job right the first time. So, it's been, looking back, it's been a hell of a ride so far, and I couldn't be more excited for the future of being in Peoria and trying to help the Peoria area. My little motto for the business is to help people feel better, move better, and live better. And I really do mean that in each sentence. The feeling better part's obvious with chiropractic. Most of us think about pain, but getting you feeling better to give you the confidence to start moving better. And then once we're feeling better, moving better, that quality of life is changed. And obviously, everyone is different. Every case is different. But when you, like I talked about multiple times already, I can tell I like this stuff. When you see people getting better and happy and changing their life because of the influence you had,
That's right.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
It is. So.
If a young entrepreneur is watching this video right now and they're looking at you and they're saying, okay, he's opened his business for a year and a half and he made it through COVID, what's one piece of advice you give to that young entrepreneur that hasn't started yet, that might have an idea for a business but really wants to?
I guess it really comes down to, it depends. It's one of my favorite answers in the clinical setting. But do your research. And if you figure out that there is a void in the market or maybe an entirely new market that is untapped in your area, go. And for a young entrepreneur, we've highlighted quite a few things that I would say would be good advice in terms of, being ready for the fact that you're going to fail. Not if I fail, but when. And how you respond to that.
Yep.
There was a point in my life where I look back and I said, I think I just accepted the status quo. I accepted mediocrity out of myself and those that I was around. And at some point in my life, it shifted from, I want to be the best version of myself. And there's days where I get more towards that goal, and there's days where I'm like, dang, you suck today, Ben. But when you look back linearly, that upward trajectory is what it's all about. And personal growth, it takes time, and you're going to keep learning, you're going to keep failing. So I guess my only advice would be to just go for it, man.
Yeah.
And if you fail,
When you fail,
you've learned something.
Yeah.
You should learn something, but you're going to learn something, and you're going to be better for it because of
next
that.
time. I think as human beings, we're always running. This is what I've found out in my own life. We're always running. We're either running towards something or from something. And when faced with fear and conflict and failure, a lot of times I've run from it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost natural, right?
It's natural to run from pain. And I think in the past year, I started running toward my pain and saying that I'm not okay with running from my problems anymore. And I want to face them head on.
Heck yeah, man.
Right?
Yes.
And get punched in the jaw, almost asking for it so that the next time I won't do it again, or the next time that I'll be better. And so it was a switch in my mind, like talking about personal growth, that you have to be willing to go through it, but we're always running towards something, whether from or toward your pain or your resistance. And so adopting that mentality for a young entrepreneur to run toward their dreams, full well knowing they're going to hit the wall and fail and probably want to quit, super valuable.
That's an awesome analogy. I like that. I'm probably going to steal it. But.
Steal it. Take it.
Definitely.
And let's run together.
Yes, sir. Heck yeah.
Well, Ben, last question. What's the one thing you want to say out there to the people of Peoria? Why would somebody want to come to Peoria Spine Sport? What's the one sales pitch you'd give? Not even a sales pitch, but why you?
Well, you're going to get the most authentic version of myself, and I'm not going to speak on anybody else's abilities or their knowledge, but when you walk in my door, you're going to get 100% of my energy. I'm going to get the best service, the best quality care that I can give you every single time. And I'm pretty confident in my abilities. But I think when you look at the track record, I each month after a patient starts care, I send an outcome assessment saying, hey, how you doing? Basically, it's anonymous, but I track how much improvement we get and how many visits it took to get there. So, on average, we're getting about 80% improvements and within a 30-day time frame.
That's great.
So if you can go from, a 9 out of 10 pain scale when you walk in less than a month, I can get you to about a 2, 3. That's pretty much a win.
That's great.
And obviously there's ongoing things there, but you're not going to find someone that's going to care more about and invest more in yourself than me. Because when I tell people, when you join or when you start coming to Peoria Spine Sport, you're joining. We're a team now. I'm invested in you, man or woman. I'm invested in you to get goals, and we talk about goals together. Like, I want to be able to squat, 225 again. I used to be able to do that, but now my back hurts so bad I can't do anything. Well, we're going to get you to squat, 235 pounds. All right. And when we have that mentality of this is what's going to happen, the pieces that need to be filled in, they'll sort themselves out. We'll fill in the pieces as we go, but if you have the right mindset and you look forward to getting better, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's cliche to say that a positive mindset can really influence everything in your life, but it can. And if people need to spark a positivity, that's my job.
Yeah.
And you can come in a lot of pain, and if we can help you reduce that a little bit each time, you're going to notice yourself being happier and happier, and that's the ultimate goal.
Love that, man. Ever since I've met you, I can see a genuine spirit on you. I can see a genuine nature that you genuinely do care.
Thanks, man.
Right, and that's why I wanted to have you on here to hear your story. You and Jackie both. Jackie's an awesome person.
Yeah.
In the limited nature we saw each other at the lemonade stand, but you guys exude genuine care, and that's what I really appreciate about you and your business. So,
well, right back at you, man. I can tell. With Roof Tiger, you guys are top of the game.
Yeah, thank you.
I love what you're doing.
As a young entrepreneur to another, I'm super happy and I'm super excited to see you grow in the future.
Thanks, man.
And I'm over here cheering you on, man.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, right back at you, brother.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on the podcast, Ben.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing how this turns out. And,
Heck yeah.
following the next couple ones. All right?
That's right. That was the podcast, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you shortly. Rawr.